This man is an author, G. That's dope, that's dope. Ooh.
Yeah, he
got moves.
He got moves too.
And I just found out he a producer. He cold. Show him what you do, son.
I remember how old he was. He had to be like 5 or 6 or so. He was a little dude. And just like any other beautiful child, ready to show you what they're interested in. Look what I got, man. Look at what I'm doing. Phenomenal.
Subconscious thoughts, subconscious conscious, subconscious conscious, subconscious conscious, subconscious conscious.
And I could see he's putting sounds together that people don't normally put together. And it's like, oh wow, that's cool. That's cool. And you can see him connecting with it. Man, it's like he's threading something, and the spool of thread is actually coming from him, his actual self. So it's like, man, he's connected with it, what he's making. I like to tell parents, just be. However you are, your children are listening. They're listening, man. They're paying attention. Whether you think they're not paying attention, they are. And it shows. He's the example of, hey, I was listening the whole time.
I've dreamt of writing stories in the back of my laboratory. I've dreamt of mixing different narrative systems in different topics. I've dreamt of painting a perfect picture just to crop it. I've dreamt of crafting a perfect pair of pants, all to chop the bottoms off it. So you better understand these concepts, and I'll craft a plan to write a rather worldly story, or a horror story, or maybe a rather gory story, or another worldly story. Like I'm walking on the Aurora Borealis, showing off my talents, drinking from a golden chalice in a palace made of clouds. And one day I'm not gonna wake up.
Like, what kind of artist is he? Where would you put him? And
so he's in a conscious, almost new hip hop level. Hip hop is in itself the actual word hip. To be hip is to be connected. You know what's going on. You know what just happened with the people. You know. I'm hip. That's a term from the 60s and the 70s. Hip. To hop with it is the action to hop. And that's really the definition of listening. Listening is to hear it and then act off of what you just heard. So that's what hip hop is. It's a moving, engaging thing. And he is a new form of listening and moving, right? And so what he's learned is how to express the conflict. He's able to go to different places. Like, you could tell Little, when he was smaller, he didn't really care about the rules of writing this story.
Our readers must know about the world we live in. Specialization is when many people work together to create something. I will give you an example. One humanoid insect could create a man or woman's torso underground in fear that regular humans might hurt it. Then a sea creature unknown to you or me creates all the limbs, including everything from hands to legs to feet. But not the head, of course, for that would be illogical. The shapeshifters on land would obviously manufacture the heads, yet they cannot create the tongue or the ears. They simply are not worthy. The angels in heaven would create the ears so man could hear the word of God and understand it. The demons of hell create the tongues for man to spit out his worst sentences and insults. Specialization is simply something that makes it easier and faster to create goods or services for consumers. Oh, and also the consumers. I hope you could understand what I explained. The end.
Did you write that?
I'm going to express what I see. And that has permeated into his hip hop production, where right here, it's supposed to bounce, but he slowed it down and took you into another world. That's what we're looking for. That's what we want in hip hop. His freedom, his autonomy of creating music and writing the topic. Some of the things he was saying in there, man, expresses a lot of the conflict that most of us go through. And for him speaking that at that age and that level shows we're gonna get a whole new picture of life. And we have a new painter, we have a new Rembrandt, man. And he's not just good with the brush, he's able to make the paint.
One day, I'm not gonna wake up. See, I found out when I was about 10 years old that the world wasn't exactly the way they told me. And I finally understood why they would scold me. But not really though, cause I realized my own mortality. At 10 years old, the world was cold, but the good and evil decomposed, disintegrated in the same way that everything else did. Back when we were savages in the old days, existentialists with no name tried to do the Kurt Cobain thing. I remember seeking for answers at 16, the answers to questions I was asking ages 10 to 15. I remember shivering in the cold acid rain, feeling the answers drip down on my face, disintegrated. But those answers faded away and they were fake. The real ones always stay the same. Answers left my
I said,
brain.
oh man, that's a little bit of Mac Miller. That's a little bit of that is YouRyeAh using the I don't care about the construct and the rules of what you're doing. Listen to the vision that God gave me.
Smack you right in the left jaw, you might lose it. Drill it back on like screw it. I'ma keep on singing silly songs with Larry until I'm buried. Run my rhymes like Seuss did. Yellow fish, white fish, you fish, red fish, fights fish fly like fish fly. Black and blue fish, fish die sleeping with the fishies like fish fry. If I had one wish, I'd ask for 2 wishes. I'd ask for 1 fish and then I ask for 2 fishes. By the process, scientific of mitosis, bring the crowds in about a quintuple thousand of them. Add a couple pounds to them, feed them and teach them so they know how to fish when you're not around them. Like, teach me a new fish. Teach me a new fish. Teach me a new fish. Teach me a new fish.